Title: The Gourd That Sang at Midnight. In the old days, before electricity chased darkness from the night and before stories lived inside phones, there was a small village in Nigeria where moonlight guided footsteps and wisdom was passed from elders to children by the fire. In that village, people believed that every action spoke louder than words and that the spirits listened closely to the hearts of humans. This is one of the stories they told, a story of patience, cruelty, and a reward that tested the soul. There lived a young lady named Adunni. She lost her mother while she was still very young, and the warmth of her home disappeared with her. Her father later remarried, hoping to bring joy back into the house, but joy does not always follow new beginnings. After her father fell ill and became weak, the new wife revealed her true nature. Adunni was turned into a servant in her own father's house. Before the sun rose, she fetched water from the stream. She swept the compound until her palms burned. She cooked meals she was never allowed to taste and slept beside the kitchen fire, wrapped in silence and hunger. Yet, through all her suffering, Adunni never complained. Her greeting was always gentle. Her eyes remained calm. Her heart stayed kind. The villagers noticed her good character. They praised her humility and manners, saying she carried herself like royalty despite her torn clothes. Each compliment, however, planted bitterness in the heart of her stepmother. Jealousy grew like weeds after rain. Late one night, under the dim glow of a lantern, the stepmother whispered to herself that kindness would not save Adunni forever. That was the night she decided to get rid of her. The next morning she handed Adunni a sealed gourd and told her to take it deep into a forbidden forest known as Igbo Ajanaku, a place whispered about with fear, where many entered but few returned. She warned Adunni not to open the gourd, not to speak to anyone, and not to return until sunset. Adunni bowed her head and obeyed. As she walked deeper into the forest, the air grew cold and the trees thickened. Suddenly, the gourd in her hands began to hum softly, like a distant song. It spoke words of comfort, telling her not to fear, reminding her that a gentle heart never walks alone. Along the forest path, Adunni met a crying old woman who begged for help. She met a wounded hunter who could barely stand. She met a thirsty child weak from the heat. Though she had little, Adunni shared kindness freely. She helped the old woman, supported the hunter, and gave water to the child. With every act of goodness, the gourd became heavier in her hands. When the sun finally began to set, the humming stopped. The gourd opened by itself, and a radiant light poured out. Inside were gold, coral beads, cowries, and blessings beyond imagination. A deep voice echoed in the forest, telling her that her heart had spoken for her and that her suffering had come to an end. Adunni returned home quietly, not proud, but peaceful. When the villagers saw her, they rejoiced. The stepmother's heart burned with envy. Blinded by greed, she dressed her own daughter in fine clothes and sent her to the same forest with an even larger gourd. But this time the girl mocked the crying old woman, ignored the wounded hunter, and chased the thirsty child away. When her gourd opened at sunset, it did not shine with blessings. Instead, snakes, sickness, and darkness poured out. She ran home screaming, her beauty gone, her pride shattered. The elders gathered and judged the matter. The truth could no longer hide. The stepmother was banished from the village, and Adunni was honored and lifted. She later grew into a respected woman whose name was spoken with pride. Until today, elders say that kindness never goes unrewarded. Wickedness prepares its own punishment, and patience is a language the spirits understand.